Welcome back to the Locksmith Show, live on KFNX. I'm Andrew. I have Andrew Flores with us. Locksmith Charlie's out. We are broadcasting live from the Arizona Professional Locksmith Studios, live at KFNX. Our call-in numbers are 602-277-KFNX. Again, 602-277-5369. Or you can call us toll-free at 866-536-1100. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
The heat is coming, I guess, huh?
It's around the corner. I think we're going to hit 96 on Wednesday.
Yeah, 96, 98.
No, I'm not looking forward to that.
It's going up.
All you guys up north can love your weather then.
There you go.
So, let's talk about the Arizona Professional Locksmith Association.
Yeah.
Right now we have currently 4 local locksmiths that are a part of our association.
Right.
We have Alcatraz Lock, who Mr. Todd Hogan owns, myself, Andrew's Lock and Key, Charlie, our other co-host who happens to be out today, and Jim over at Copper State Lock.
Good Jim Anderson.
We are looking for other gentlemen and women who are in our industry and local locksmiths here in the Phoenix metropolitan area. We are looking for you to be a part of our association. We will be branching out to you Tucson folks rather soon. And some of the other major cities around us, Flagstaff, anybody who has the scammer problem.
Exactly, which is basically any major city with over about 40,000 people in it. And yeah, it's open to everybody, not only just locksmiths, but suppliers, people who just do door installations, anything and everything of where, there's a scam within the industry of, the locks, basically.
Yes. And with our association, I can guarantee you any of the guys that you call will give you a price quote pretty much over the phone.
Right.
And not try to scam you out of any more money than what the job should have been worth originally.
Verified, legitimate locksmiths or suppliers for sure.
So, going into more of what's going on locally, why we do what we do to try to bring awareness to consumers out there who possibly may be looking for a locksmith when they lose their keys to their car, they lose their safe combination, they buy a new house and they need to have the house rekeyed. Any of that stuff. You'll look into the phone book. You really need to do research on who you're calling. Make sure that they are legitimate. And like I said, if you go to any of our websites, which kind of range under all of the local cities in our metropolitan area, so 24-hour Chandler Locksmith, 24-hour Gilbert Locksmith, 24-hour Glendale Locksmith, all of these are .com, by the way, 24-hour Goodyear Locksmith.com, 24-hour Mesa Locksmith.com, 24-hour Peoria Locksmith.com, 24-hour Phoenix Locksmith.com, 24-hour Scottsdale Locksmith.com, 24-hour Surprise Locksmith.com, and 24-hour Tempe Locksmith.com.
Right, basically covering the entire valley. The way that the advocacy sets up is we're trying to fight the scammers the same way that the scammers are trying to take over our business. They're using 24-hour emergency service. They're using every city in the valley that has every city in the country that has a great population, where it's not just the local locksmith down the street that everybody knows. And once they infiltrate, they take over very rapidly, and people are getting charged, 4 to 1,000% more than what it should be. We've actually received over the past couple of weeks several comments on our social media from people who have either experienced similar things or people who are aware of the scam, and definitely we're starting to shake it up a little bit to see some change. But hopefully we can get out there and bring back some of the money to the master locksmiths who deserve it, as well as keep some money in the consumer's pocketbook.
Well, that's the main reason. I don't want to sit here and say that we've lost thousands and millions of dollars in our industry due to it, but it really has happened.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and complain about that. What I complain about is when the little old lady loses $1,000 on a job that should have cost her no more than $200.
Exactly.
That's what hurts my feelings more than losing money out of my own pocket. So, sorry, something in my throat today. What other news you got today?
News-wise, not really too much going on in the industry. North Carolina is still kind of reviewing their board. I think that comes up here in the next couple of days that community will be able to discuss if they're going to keep the occupational board going or if they're going to go ahead and dissolve all of that licensing. In similar news, South Carolina wants to create an occupational board to regulate locksmiths because of some issues that they're having there. But yeah, I mean,
their issues there is not something that they need to have in any industry, period.
That's correct.
So.
And again, it's something that I mean, we've seen a lot of issues with the scammers being people of, either foreign race that don't understand exactly what they may be or may not be doing, as well as just the access for other people because there is no regulation, period. I mean, not necessarily government-wise, but even just of locksmiths getting along even, let's put it that way. If I brought my BMW into a guy who only repairs Ford and Chevy, he would still have somebody who he would be able to send me down to, you know what I mean? But, that's trusted, that I know I'm not, gonna come out with no engine in my car or one bolt. As a guy who I was talking to the other day, he, took his car into a guy who was recommended and he pulled up to the shop and it didn't really seem like the right shop to be at. But he gave the guy the car and started driving down the road after it was all said and done 6 hours later and heard a lot of rattling and took a look and there was one bolt holding the engine on. There was 2 more missing.
4, I think. 4 bolts.
There's a little Honda Accord.
Oh, yeah. But he went in to get the motor mounts replaced and the motor mounts.
So something I think he was getting the top end rebuilt real quick, a new gasket put on. And for some reason ended up with only having 1 motor mount bolted down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was an incredible story. Yeah, I mean, from there, it kind of just segues into the fact of what every locksmith has on their mind, and it's making that phone ring. We do a lot with Google. We've been on a very hard campaign, both physically and virtually with Google. And, I think we're definitely making segue with everything that we're doing. Just it's getting worse and worse by the day, it seems.
Well, Google wants to, I think, work with the locksmiths to a point, but I also think that they aren't doing enough on the same token.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to add another phone number and another location for a second truck I'm trying to get up moving on the road and in North Scottsdale, and I'm having very hard troubles trying to run my Old Town Scottsdale locksmith business on Google because they're saying they can't verify anything, but they're not giving me a chance to verify anything. Right. So, which seems to be a big problem with legitimate locksmiths to get onto Google, but then it seems like every day that I get on Google and I'm looking to see where our rankings are every week, there's 2 more, 3 more, 5 more locksmiths that don't exist.
Right.
The addresses say they're there. I'd like to go shake their hand to see if they'd like to join our association if they're a legitimate locksmith. And
it's an empty office building.
It's an empty office building, or there's no business address there, or there's a business there, but it's not that business.
Right.
So, and they have another New York Times article that was written just before the beginning of the year about it all again. Yeah. And, 2009, I think, was the first one that had the big sweep of things.
Right.
And, the likelihood of opening up a Yellow Page advertising or Bing or one of the other ones, Yelp. No, Yelp does a pretty good job of keeping it clean for the most part.
But their advertisements still come from the Google Display Network.
Their advertisements still come from the Google. Yeah, exactly. Which I think is a whole nother weird thing as we try to run AdWords. So if there's anybody out there who's in the advertising community that can explain to me AdWords, I would love to hear from you. You can call me at 480-437-4022 because right now it's way over my head and I'm deep in trying to understand how and where they say my clicks are coming from and going to because it doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up.
And yet we'll talk to Google on Monday or AdWords on Monday and see what they say about it. But
right. We're becoming Googler experts.
That's what we try to consider ourselves. So, but Google, I do have an answer, a question for you. I know another guy asked you guys this. Why is it that we can try to control the local, which you guys are doing an okay job at, other than you won't allow me to add my other business on there, which is a legitimate business as well. So my question is, why do we let AdWords run rampant with the scammers still in the 4 and 6 listings down? Even in the ads when you switch over, the stuff that's missing on the right-hand side of the screen used to be filtered with it at all.
Right.
And,
Now, you can create an ad for anything that you want to create an ad for, but when it comes down to actually putting things on business,
but there's
verification from there.
They'll take the money from the scammer.
Exactly. So when it's a free product, they want verification, but when money's being paid for it, anything and everything can go up.
Yeah. Well, here's what I think. They say Google AdWords has. Sorry, listen, my music's coming in. Google AdWords, they'll take the $15 in the service call because that's what it costs to get the click, and then they're going to take the rest of your money after that.
Right.
We'll be back after this commercial break.
Welcome back to downtown Phoenix, the KFNX studio. It is the Locksmith Show. Again, our call-in number is 602-277-KFNX or 602-277-5369. We'd like to talk to anybody who's been scammed in a locksmith job or anything like that, or any locksmith questions that you may have. Also, if you meet us outside the studio at noon today, we will make you a free house key or a free car key if it's not a transponder. So just a regular metal tin head key there. But yeah.
Brass keys.
Brass keys.
Not tin.
Oh, brass. Sorry.
Brass.
Got it.
Andrew's learning some of this stuff. He helps me do some internet advertising and some of our SEO work that we're trying to do to help bring up the Arizona Professional Locksmith Association websites to help the consumers, you guys. So again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to call 602-277-KFNX 5369.
Just the man from the internet over here.
So yesterday, we went to a job, and I know you guys that are losing your houses in the bank repossession. Some of it was unfair. I understand that. This one wasn't a bank repo. This was a rental property. My question to you consumers out there who want to blame the landlords for your, lack of paying them, if you lose your job or something like that, you move out of somebody's house. Don't make it a mess. Don't leave your trash all over the place. That happens all the time, and I feel bad for the landlords that, I understand it's a hardship on your behalf, but you're making it cost $1,000 to come over and clean up your mess.
Right. and a nastier process for the the service people who have to come in and change locks or clean the carpet afterwards or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I just thought that was very disrespectful. They rent the house to you, you lose your job, you can't pay for it, you're going through a divorce, whatever the reason is that you're having to leave the house. At least try to make it back as close as possible as they gave it to you. And,
right. Yeah, things happen. They didn't, open the door when you signed the lease to a bunch of stuff. Hey, here you go, clean all that up, would you? So.
But yeah, I just find it really disrespectful. We see it a lot. A lot. So, back on the locksmithing scam thing, I'm looking in downtown Phoenix area here since we're at the studio, and I can see, I count 5 that aren't legit out of the 10 that I'm seeing. So you got about a 50% chance, folks out there, calling a legitimate locksmith right near the KFNX studio, which to me is a sad day.
Very sad. I mean, you come downtown to have a good night, you accidentally misplace your keys or, who knows, they get, your purse gets stolen or whatever may happen. And the next thing you do is jump online to find a locksmith, and you're just trying to get everything situated so that you can get home or on with your night or whatever it may be. And you got a 50-50 chance of being taken for hundreds of dollars that shouldn't even need to be spent because you get just some guy who's out there trying to make a quick buck in cash as quick as possible.
And they will strong arm you into paying them. They'll tell you that, let's go down to the bank. There was a video, I think of the ABC News special, that the guy wanted to follow the lady down to the bank.
Yeah, you would take her down to the bank or,
You never have to do that.
No.
Just tell them to go away. Call the police on them. Have them leave and deal with that.
Yeah, and know you're doing nothing wrong when you're trying to refuse them from working on your vehicle. You can always tell them to leave. They can't call the police on you. It's not the way business works. We get to choose who we are or are not going to pay, just as they get to choose who they are or are not going to service.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, looking here, I can see exactly where you're coming up with those false ones for sure. It's definitely nasty. I mean, I think consumers are becoming more aware that they have to do homework more and more. But again, it's like something that we've discussed multiple times. When it comes down to locking yourself out, you are kind of in that panic situation. You know, you're just trying to get the situation taken care of as fast as possible, and unfortunately, there's a more likely chance that you're going to end up in a worse situation than you're in already.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Mesa right now. Let's see how that one comes out.
Right. Yeah, it seems because of the...
Well, Mesa, the top 3 are legitimate guys. I know every single one of them. The top 5 are legitimate. 6 and 7. Well, 7's me. He's not legitimate. He's a horrible guy.
Don't trust him.
Don't trust him. But you know, I'm looking at them and they're getting 5-star reviews.
Right.
For what reason? Or 4.9-star reviews. And if you look at the reviews, it's not even for them. It's for a rug company or a coffee shop, or they're taking over Google listings and spamming them into a locksmith in a different city from what originally it was. And in my conversation with a couple of the GMB reps, that stands for Google My Business, their reps on the phone, they are telling me they're well aware of the problem, that people are extorting their services.
Right.
And they don't know how to fix it. It's not that you can just turn it off very quickly and do it. I think there's a lot more to it than just saying on, off. I think their algorithm they wrote is to try to keep it clean, and they have to figure out what their algorithm's going to do to get people on and or off. I think they have the final say, but they also have to clean it up so the algorithm can actually read it.
Right. No, I agree. I believe that there's, of course we don't know exactly how it works. It's all speculation, but when it comes down to it at the end of the day, as Andrew said, we created an account for a division of Andrew's Lock and Key, and immediately upon completing the setup of the profile, we got a notification that the account was suspended due to quality issues. We went through, I've read almost all of Google products terms of services just so that we can make sure that we are aware of it, as well as the privacy policy. Went through these new guidelines of what we may be violating in order to get this profile published and online, so we can continue on with trying to get advertisements and things of that matter. And we had to submit a reinstatement form. And once we submitted that, it took about 2 days, and we received a denial on that. We made several more phone calls, talked to them several more times, received another 4 emails and correspondence about the matter, and again still got told that we were suspended. The page actually got completely deleted for a day.
Yeah.
And then everything, all the work that we did came back finally, but it's not available. If you search for the company anywhere online, it does not pull up to anybody other than ourselves on the back end of our services. So,
well, that, and it does pull up. If you type in Old Town Scottsdale Locksmith, it will pull up. The 3rd or 4th organic hit will be the actual website.
Right, organically, but nothing from a Google product.
Nothing from a Google product.
And that was, the reasoning behind suspending us made absolutely no sense, because we hadn't even placed any posts to be considered spammers. We hadn't really done anything besides entered in the required information that they request in order to create a Google profile, and received quality issues. So it came down to the fact of categorizing us underneath the term locksmith, I believe. And as you said, the algorithm basically immediately suspends locksmiths because they are highly aware of the scam issue. I mean, there's more than a dozen locksmiths who have issued lawsuits to Google about this, and as we look at it more and more, we don't see how to try to rectify the situation without some form of litigation ourselves either. But approaching it the way that it's been approached, Google has to do something. They're 80% of the market search for a product. It's 94% guaranteed that the person is going to buy if they find you and have satisfied reviews on Google. And they're stopping blue-collared businesses from being able to use the service. It's not the right approach.
No, I don't think so either. I also think that they have been, here, now I finally have some AdWords running. And not a single one of those are legitimate guys.
Right.
$14 Tempe locksmith. Well, the $14 is what it's going to cost them for that click originally.
Right.
So they're going to incur that cost back to you. But then if you don't use the click, they still get charged for the $14.
Right. If you click through to the website but still don't use their service, they get that charge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, the way that I look at it is if we're a tiny little association here and we have the ability to verify every locksmith that's coming onto our network, why can't Google put together something the same? Why is it all based off of us calling into Google, us trying to submit all of this documentation to Google? Why doesn't Google already have that information, those guidelines, so to say, ready for us to be submitted so that we're not sitting here spinning our wheels? We've been at this now for over a month to try to get it up and running. But if I wanted to create a t-shirt campaign against, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or whoever it may be, I could have that up and verified and running tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just the locksmiths. We do have lots of other industries that keep having that problem.
Right. The entire blue collar industry,
collars,
yeah.
Your plumbers, your AC guys, your AC guys,
garage repairmen,
carpet cleaning, all of the above. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
No matter how well you plan, no matter how careful you try to be, emergencies happen. Like when the car doors slam shut at the precise moment you realize your keys are still in the ignition, the baby's firmly secured in the car seat in the back, and now you really need a locksmith. How will you know you're calling a professional you can trust? Did you know that over half the locksmiths advertised in your local phone books are not qualified professionals? A qualified locksmith will arrive at the site in a clearly marked service vehicle. He will ask for your ID and proof that you're the legal owner of the home or vehicle. Always insist on a written price quote before work is begun. Don't place your home, your car, or your family in the hands of unscrupulous strangers. Go to findalocksmith.com, choose a qualified member of the Associated Locksmiths of America, and save the information. There'll be times when you'll be glad you did. Associated Locksmiths of America. Locksmiths you can trust.
And welcome back to the Locksmith Show. I'm Andrew McCauley from Andrew's Lock and Key. I also have Andrew Flores in the studio with us. Charles Eastwood, Locksmith Charlie, is out sick today. So let's talk about Aloha. Aloha is a organization that is for locksmiths who join. Now, I am not a member of it. Charlie is a member of it, and he's also the Southwest director of Aloha. Mm-hmm. I am a member of SOPL. Now, my only concern with Aloha is they haven't done a whole heck of a lot with the locksmith scam. They do have the Find a Locksmith website,
right,
which does list all legitimate locksmiths that are in local areas. I will say to Aloha, I really want you guys to get up to par with our mobile searches. You guys need to get your website up to par if we're going to have a Find a Locksmith website, because you can only find 3 people because it pops up in a iframe, which Google doesn't necessarily like in the aspects of helping you with SEO with the legitimate locksmiths that are on your website, because it's really not showing Google anything other than that it's coming from a third party.
Right.
So if you do search for a locksmith on a desktop, I would go to Find a Locksmith. You will find a legitimate locksmith. So you will find Charlie listed on there. You'll find lots of other local guys listed on there as well, more than the association has. So if one of my guys on the association can't help you, I would suggest going there. As well as Society of Professional Locksmith too, Tom Lynch, who's the director of SOPL, he himself has another locksmith finder on his website as well that will find legitimate locksmiths locally for the city you search in.
Right.
And some international stuff too.
Sopal.us has the locksmith directory, and Aloha.org has the Find a Locksmith tool to search out and about. Again, yeah, you definitely want to be searching locally, guys. You want to know your local neighborhood. You want to know your local locksmith. You want to know your local plumber. You want to know your local handyman. It's about your neighborhood. Again, I think it's something I discussed last week a little bit in regards to politics, but I think it comes back around to society as a whole, actually. And we really have to start knowing who our neighbors are that would have taken care of a situation out there in South Carolina. Actually, we don't technically want to discuss that case in detail as we just became aware of it today, but it definitely, if we localize a little bit more and become a community to help our fellow brothers and sisters out, I think we could definitely see a lot more changes happen than if we just continue to try to be, self-absorbent.
Well, I think it goes back to the same thing we talk about on the politics side of things. People need to start talking together as a whole. You need to know your people. You need to know the guy you're voting for. You're voting for Donald Trump, no Donald Trump. If you're voting for Bernie Sanders, no Bernie Sanders.
Right.
Just don't go over the wave of everybody saying, "Oh, he's the greatest guy in the world."
Exactly.
Make your own educated opinion upon who you're voting for, not just what the media tells you.
Right. Yeah. Come up with your own understanding and your own morals of why you're going to be voting for that person. But not even on that scale of it. Don't get so offended by somebody having an opposing opinion than you. I mean, the bestiality that we're seeing in politics this year is absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
it's like an MMA fight going
on. Right? You almost feel like, am I watching WWE or am I watching CNN now?
Well, WWE is just as fake as politics are these days.
Yeah, I'll have to give it to you, unfortunately.
Maybe that's what we're watching.
Right, but I mean, it comes down to nothing different. As we're sitting there leaving a job, driving from one side of the valley to the next, yesterday we got into a discussion where, me and you are on total two opposite sides of it, but at the end of the day, we weren't, throwing punches.
To disagree.
Yeah, we weren't throwing punches in the van, know? So it's definitely getting dirty out there, but, it comes down to really do your research, guys. Don't come up and say that you're voting for Hillary Clinton because she sleeps with, Bill Clinton. Don't come up to me and tell me, oh, Bernie Sanders is always trying to be doing good for society since he's been a politician. Don't tell me that Donald Trump is the greatest because he's not a politician and we need, political incorrectness in the White House. No, those are what the media is feeding down and cramming down into people's heads. Give me something valid. What do you like about his policy? What do you like about her policy? What do you like about the campaign that actually makes you physically want to vote for that person?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, show up.
Yeah. Show up to vote.
It's not about
stand in that 10-hour line here in Arizona, whether you had to or not. I thank everybody who did.
They're going to fix that.
They are. Hopefully. They open 20 more instead of 180.
I have a lot of faith in Michelle, our Secretary of State. She really does a good job for local businesses and helping out the guys who, want to venture out on their own but don't really know where to start. Her department is very good at leading you down the right path. She's doing the investigation into it, and, the petition did reach enough signatures for the White House. Again, like Charlie said last weekend, will it really do anything for a locally, publicly elected official? Maybe not, but it definitely does put a spotlight on it. And, if people will wake up and actually pay attention, like I said, to what's going on locally, we might just be able to change what happens nationally,
Well, that's where it starts.
Right.
That's where it starts.
Always. 2 years, not 4 years.
2 years, 4 years. 2 and 4. You got to go every time.
Exactly.
And the big one's every 4. And every 2's the really big one.
The really big one. The one that you should be paying.
The one that really makes the difference in your local municipalities.
Right. President's a paper pusher, people. The House makes the decisions.
Or they're a reader. They're a telescript reader.
There you go, yep.
Have to look good for that.
Yeah.
That's really about all that is.
That's really all it is. If you can speak English at least halfway appropriate, right? Can't give too much credit to the Bushes there.
No. Everybody does. They do good and they do bad.
Right.
That's politics. So, and you're going to love them or hate them. End of story. There's nothing else that That it is. In my, what I guess, I don't know how old I am anymore. We forget after the age that I turned last week, I think.
That warranty is expiring again, man.
In the 16 years that I have voted.
Right.
Has been, I've learned a lot. So.
Sure. But the thing is that you are a unique individual there, because most people don't even start looking into politics until their late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s sometimes. They'll know about it here or there. They'll share a Facebook post or an Instagram, but they won't actually show up to a poll and vote until the latter part of their 20s normally.
Yeah, I guess that's true. When I could first vote, it was something I wanted to do.
Right.
Jump on the bandwagon to do it. And I thank all those kids that they got a first vote this last time. And it wasn't really a big vote. It's a primary vote. It's, it's the one that's going to help say Arizona wants to do this, but whether they do it or not, they stood in line. They did it. It's awesome.
Right.
Again, when we go back in, stand in longer lines. Just make sure you get in who you think is going to get in, period.
Just vote.
Just vote. So.
Who said it? Somebody said, it was John Oliver. John Oliver said over 1.5 million of you voted on American Idol, but not even that many people showed up to their local polls in some cities. More people paying attention to entertainment television. Again, the Donald Trump aspect in my mind.
I know.
If he didn't have Apprentice, if he didn't have the television shows that he had, would he be this big? Would people know who Donald Trump is?
Back in the 70s, he said he was going to run.
Right.
That's what he said. So maybe it is a lifelong dream of his to do it. And this was the opportunity and everything for him to do that. I personally don't care for Donald Trump.
Right.
I actually don't care for any of them. But that's just my opinion. I will have to vote for somebody, and I guess I'll wait down it gets to that part, and maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
Sometimes I wish there was none of the above that I could check that box. So, but they don't leave that one.
I mean, it's no different than not showing up. I'm a person who has very strong beliefs in systems, and I will say I have never placed a government vote in my life.
Oh.
I don't believe in government per se. I believe that again, if we were more localized and paid attention to our neighbors as smaller communities, we could get more done than on the large outreach that we have made. I think it goes back to the same things of corporations control politics. I don't have specific problems with corporations, but what I do have problems with is how much power a corporation has over our politicians. And I think that's where something needs to definitely place a change. But, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, you definitely have to make your decision. And, looking at this election, it is nasty.
Yeah.
There is nobody who seems to have a good actual political pool to do anything beneficial for society. And again, it's just what makes me go further into my belief of why have such a supreme leader, a ruler with that much power, who at the end of the day bickers worse than a 4-year-old in a playground.
I don't have an answer for that. I think this election has been a whole I don't even know. I can't use the word on the radio, honestly. So that's
very true.
It's just been a catastrophe. I think it's making reality TV turn into what politics are now.
Right.
And that's sad to me. So
two very separate categories.
And it's not bringing more people out to vote. And if it was, maybe it would be a little better. But yeah, we move forward from every 4 years again.
Right.
I mean, that's what happens. Hopefully America can stay a good tried country instead of where we've been going the last 10 years. So 15 years. So.
Again, I think it comes to, there's a big divide between the country of everybody as a whole. Nobody has the same view of where we need to go anymore. And we need to pull it together. We honestly do, because this is a joke.
It is a joke.
It is.
So we're going to go to commercials here in about a minute. So again, our telephone number here at the KFNX studio is 602-277-KFNX. Again, 602-277-5369. We will also be cutting a free keys out at noon here at the studio. We have about 15 minutes left, and we will be right back after this short commercial break.
No matter how well you plan, no matter how careful you try to be, emergencies happen. Like when the car doors slam shut at the precise moment you realize your keys are still in the ignition, the baby's firmly secured in the car seat in the back, and now you really need a locksmith. How will you know you're calling a professional you can trust? Did you know that over half the locksmiths advertised in your local phone books are not qualified professionals? A qualified locksmith will arrive at the site in a clearly marked service vehicle. He will ask for your ID and proof that you're the legal owner of the home or vehicle. Always insist on a written price quote before work is begun. Don't place your home, your car, or your family in the hands of unscrupulous strangers. Go to findalocksmith.com, choose a qualified member of the Associated Locksmiths of America, and save the information. There'll be times when you'll be glad you did. Associated Locksmiths of America. Locksmiths you can trust.
Welcome back to the Locksmith Show. I'm Andrew McCauley. I am the owner of Andrew's Lock and Key. My telephone number is 480-437-4022. And you can call me 24 hours a day to have any lock service. You can also call my co-host, Locksmith Charlie, at 602-717-5397. Again, we're here live at the Arizona Professional Locksmith Association studios inside the KFNX studio. You can call us at 602-277-KFNX, 602-277-5369.
Anybody and everybody. We're looking to talk to consumers, locksmiths, supply house people, SEOers, definitely.
SEOers.
Love to talk to you guys.
We love to hear your secrets. Or at least your educated guesses, because it's all an educated guess.
All an educated guess.
I'm interested in Rank Brains. It's out,
yeah.
But they're unveiling their new mobile get-in thing, according to Google, as of May 31st this year.
Sometime in May. I don't think there's an exact date, but yeah, you could say by May 31st it will definitely probably be have an effect.
Well, let's see if it ups me or downs me.
Right.
That's the goal.
Well, we're doing everything that everybody's saying to do, including Google themselves. So
yeah. Well, hopefully they will get rid of the scammers, but I highly doubt it. I mean, a lot of them have turned into legitimate businesses. I will tell you, if on the bottom of any locksmith website that you see that has a little asterisk that says the charges will be assessed when they get there and it may go up, please don't call them.
Run.
Just go the opposite direction. That's one of the big things on there. If they have a $15 an hour service call, you might want to run as well. There might be a couple of guys out there trying to match those guys out there, but do your education. If somebody answers the phone that says locksmith, ask them what business it is.
Right.
Make sure that they're going to tell you the same number, the same business that you called. I know a lot of guys that answer their phone locksmith, but they're going to tell you the business name after you ask them what business is this.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, that's the big verifier there. You know, the guy may just answer locksmith. He may run multiple businesses. He may run multiple branches of that business where he doesn't know exactly which call is coming in. Regardless, you should be able to get some form of comfort knowing that he is an actual locksmith. Yes. If they're telling you not a solid price, if they're just giving you base rates and telling you that the final price will be, figured out after they've opened the vehicle or things of that matter, no. That's not the way it works. Again, it's only something that I have been having involvement with for about a year now, behind the scenes mainly, and on the scene for about 2 months now. But regardless, I've heard several phone calls that Andrew's taken, and there's never a time that he doesn't tell you exactly the walkthrough. And that's the same way with most of the locksmiths that we've been hanging out with. They will tell you from beginning to end exactly how the process is going to work, if that method is going to work, or if they're going to have to move forward with a different method and how much extra cost that may be. It's never going to be $35, $15 to show up, and then it may go up from there. Actually, an interesting little story on that. As we were starting our investigations into the locksmith scam, I found one out of Washington, and I gave them a call, and the guy immediately told me that he could come out to my location, which was the front gate location of the Microsoft corporate headquarters in, what is it, Red, whatever,
Washington.
up there. Yeah, up there in Washington. Redmond, that's it. And, he told me that it would be $15 for the locksmith to show up, that it would be $35 an hour once the locksmith starts to work, and once the vehicle is opened and they find out the problem from there, the price may go up.
The problem? What problem? The problem was the keys are locked in the car, so if the door's already open, the problem's solved.
That's exactly what I told him. I told him that I can look at the keys on the seat. I was ruffling through some papers, got out of the car, locked the door on accident, and I can see the keys on the seat. The car drives perfectly fine, just drove perfectly fine through 3 states, and I just needed the vehicle open. He said, sir, you are not understanding. It'll be $35 for us to show, or I'm sorry, $15 for us to show up, $35 an hour when the locksmith starts to work, and upon opening the vehicle and finding out what else is wrong, the price may go up from there. And I said, no, you're not understanding. There's nothing wrong with the vehicle. I just need the door open. And he again went through that same spiel, and I said, okay, well, this is what I'm saying. I have $75 in my pocket. And before I could even finish saying pocket, he said, no, that's fine. We'll be right there. Okay, again, when I got off the phone, I walked over to Andrew, and I said, Andrew, 2010 Ford Focus, keys locked in the car, power, nothing. How much to open it?
$65. Or $75, depending on the time of the day.
Depending on the time of the day. But if that guy would have came out to me, no doubt it would have been another $200-300 that he would have taken via credit card or some other form of payment.
Oh, he would have taken your cash and said it's another $75.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Don't pay a guy up front when they show up to do any services.
Don't sign an invoice before it's fully filled out.
Until and not scribble a big line underneath it, put a big X underneath it, so nothing else can be filled in underneath your name.
Right.
So.
Yeah, again, another reason why we work completely paperless. Everything is shown to you before we even swipe the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't change my prices unless I'm there and, you got 5 more locks than we talked about on the phone. I'm going to say, well, you told me there were 6 locks, not 11.
Exactly.
And, and they're going to say, oh, yeah, we did say 6. So, the price is going to go up a little bit there. That's obviously. But
right.
If I'm coming to open your car door, I'm not going to tell you I need to use the special tool when it's not really that special of a tool to get into the car. And the special tools that we do use, I'm going to tell you before I get there and say it's going to be X amount of dollars. And the cars that you're going to spend more money on are going to be your high-end cars, your Mercedes and your BMW. Sorry, guys, you buy the expensive car, you get the expensive deals. Because the tools cost a lot more money to make keys for them and other things.
I mean, it's the way that it works. The oil is no different, but for some reason the oil change is $140 more.
Yeah, well, that's just the name of the car.
You pay for luxury.
You pay for the brand.
Yep. Might not be much, but that price tag makes it feel like it's a whole lot.
Yeah. No, that's what you get. I drive a Lexus. I mean, I can't really say much about it. So, it's a great car. I love it. Toyota makes a great product. No offense to the American cars, because I do own a Chevy, too. And that's something you and I argue about.
Two.
Yeah, I do own 2 Chevys. One doesn't run anymore, but it did get a 367,000 miles on it before I blew the engine up.
She did her work.
So, she did her work. She went through 3 lot guys and 2 different companies.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, guys, when the locksmith shows up, he might not have labeling on the vehicle. That doesn't automatically throw up a flag there. You got to think these guys have hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes, definitely a good $10,000 of equipment in their vehicles. And, having that completely labeled in some areas of town that they need to be left either overnight or at a job or things like that is definitely very dangerous. And the locksmiths, they're security guys.
We're security guys. We don't, my van's not labeled. I have a couple of customers that prefer that. We do have some magnets we do throw up sometimes just because it's a little bit easier for customers to see us if we're pulling into a parking lot.
Right.
But I do rekey some properties that they don't want to know that there's a locksmith on site just because they see the van there.
Yeah, it can cause more problems than good.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they there's a lot of legitimate locksmiths that don't have their business names on their vehicles, but they're going to tell you their name. They're going to shake your hand. If they don't have a mobile shop location, they'll meet you at the nearest gas station or the nearest food place or the nearest parking lot somewhere.
Right.
And cut a key for you and charge you shop prices because you met them somewhere.
Exactly.
Most guys will do that. They'll shake your hand and give you their business cards. You know, save one of us in your phone before anything drastic happens. Just like you have a doctor, you should have a locksmith.
Right.
You should have a plumber. You should have a handy guy. You've said that a couple of times.
Exactly. Look up your local guy. Go meet him if you got some time. If it's Sunday fun day, if you're out doing nothing, drive around, find your local professional, get them put into your phone, shake their hand, see their face. Don't get scammed, guys. Don't get scammed.
Don't get scammed. And I want to thank you guys for this edition of the Locksmith Show, live on the KFNX studios, brought to you by the Arizona Professional Locksmith Association. We will be back here live next Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Cutting free keys for anybody who comes out and meets this afternoon.
Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week.
Are you looking for creative solutions and a vibrant locksmith community that delivers tailored programs and benefits that impact your bottom line? Look no further. The Society of Professional Locksmiths offers valuable content to help you survive in today's marketplace. Easy online training, testing, certification, webinars, and the best discussion forums in the industry. Learn about the latest and greatest in products, services, and special offers that save you money and increase your earning potential today. The Society of Professional Locksmiths pick the winners and follow the trends that matter to you, and we do it for less. Compare our forward-thinking programs and membership, and you will agree the Society of Professional Locksmiths offers more value for your membership dollar. What makes the Society of Professional Locksmiths different? We cost less and deliver more. Join the Society of Professional Locksmiths today at sopl.us.
Hey guys, if you like my YouTube channel, please subscribe below. It's over here. I don't know. It's somewhere, anywhere. It's wherever they like to put it. I don't know. But thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Tell your friends. Share my videos. If you have any questions, email me, andrewslockandkeyaz@gmail.com, or don't hesitate to pick up the phone. I answer my phone all the time. 480-437-4022. Thank you, and have a great day.